Hello, and welcome to the first video in the series about our big new project, building an adventure vehicle fit for everything from cruising the beaches of Baja to summiting the slopes of Alaskan mountains. The inspiration for this journey started when we decided to rent an RV to go down to Big Bend National Park in Texas. We would be hitting some other national parks on this trip too, but Big Bend was the limiting factor, as it was too far away from any kind of charging to use our usual method of travel, tent camping out of our Tesla Model X. We went back and forth on how to do it, and eventually decided to rent an RV. It would be a novel experience for us, as we had always done tent camping previously, and usually made fun of all the RVs we saw because we didn't think of it as real camping. Boy, were we in for a change of heart. We got a relocation deal on a Cruise America RV and began the long drive down to Texas. To my surprise, there were some things that we liked about the RV. You could cook inside, it had running water, and you didn't have to unzip the tent, get your shoes on, and walk to the nearest dubious campground bathroom in the middle of the night. I think that was my mom's favorite feature. But there were also things that we didn't like about it. It was built cheaply, so many of the parts were plastic and the layout was not very well designed. Also, it only had 2 seats up in the cab, so my sister and I had to sit on benches in the dinette, which had backrests about 6 inches high and a poor excuse for seatbelts. So in that respect, it was not very safe or comfortable, especially when you're driving for 2 days straight. The RV also wasn't meant for anything other than nice flat pavement, so even tackling a section of gravel road was sketchy in it. We didn't like how this really limited the options of where we could go, especially as we started noticing some neat 4-wheel drive gravel roads in the national parks we were visiting that would, for example, let us go camp right next to a grove of bristlecone pines if we had the right vehicle. That, of course, was the problem. There was no way we were about to drive 20 miles down unmaintained gravel backroads in our dinky pavement-loving RV. And that was when we saw a school bus in the parking lot of Saguaro National Park's Visitor Center. Now, I know what you're thinking. What has a school bus, possibly the least off-road of vehicles out there, got to do with overlanding? Well, this wasn't any ordinary school bus. This was what is amazingly referred to as a schoolie, a bus that has been transformed into a camper where people can live and work while on the road. So we got to talking about the bus with the owner, and he started telling us about a whole world we never even knew existed. People would take an old school bus, sprinter van, shuttle bus, or even an ambulance, and turn it into a camper made for living on the road. Now, that makes it sound redundant. Why buy a vehicle and spend lots of time and money turning it into something that it wasn't meant to be when you can just go out and find 1,000 different RVs for sale? Well, the answer is, as with so many things, it's complicated. For most people, an RV is the best thing to suit their needs, but for others, a motorhome just doesn't cut it. They might want to build out a sprinter van because it doesn't scream, "I'm a camper," or because it's more compact and versatile. They might want to use a school bus because, let's be honest, it looks pretty cool and provides a lot of space that you can lay out in whatever way you want. Or, as it happens, you might end up going to an Overland Expo, seeing some cool rigs built for going places most helicopters can't, and decide that the purpose of building one of these things would be to get to really cool remote places that nobody else can in comfort. Like us. During our research, one of the things we were most inspired by was the Earthroamer, a cool but incredibly expensive overlanding rig built on Ford trucks. As we grew more familiar with the overlanding world, we started leaning more and more towards this kind of rig. An insulated box integrated with a Ford F550, resulting in a comfortable but also super capable rig made for traversing remote trails. At Overland Expo Mountain West, we got to see an Earthroamer in person, and that, combined with our research from before, led us to conclude that we could do many of the things that they did, but better. We also first encountered Box Manufacturer at the expo, which eventually ended up being the company we would use to make our habitat box. We left the expo feeling inspired and ready to tackle this big cool project, and we want to share everything we've learned with you too. It took us a long time to pull together all the information we needed for this project, and we want to make it easier for other people to achieve the same dream as ours, traveling in an adventure rig. So that's what we'll be doing with this channel and our blog. We'll share all the details and tips and tricks we can, along with all the reasoning we put into deciding on what we did. Look out for new videos and blog posts, along with daily updates on our Instagram if you want to know what's up at Disappointment Ranch. Thank you.